In addition to delivering plenty of monster-mashing spectacle, Godzilla x Kong, the new empire has revealed more details about Kong's species in the MonsterVerse and how they ended up in the Hollow Earth, and why a few of them went to Skull Island. Godzilla x Kong, the new empire sees Kong encountering more members of his species in the Hollow Earth and teaming up with Godzilla to defeat their tyrannical leader, the Scar King. This storyline gave the MonsterVerse an opportunity to expand its world-building by explaining where Kong's species came from and why they retreated into the Hollow Earth. Monarch, the organization in charge of the giant monsters in the MonsterVerse, have a few internal names to refer to their kaiju friends. The MonsterVerse first entry, the 2014 reboot of Godzilla, introduced the term MUTOs to refer to the mysterious creatures popping up around the world. This acronym stands for Massive Unidentified Terrestrial Organism, and it went from applying to a particular parasitic monster to referring to any unidentified creature in this universe. But Godzilla x Kong, the new empire, has given a more specific name to Kong's species in the MonsterVerse, and filled in its history. Kong is a great ape in the MonsterVerse. The name Kong only applies to Kong himself. In Godzilla x Kong, the new empire, the term great ape is applied to Kong's species. Kong meets some fellow great apes in the Hollow Earth and finds that they're all being led by the Scar King, a sort of evil version of Kong who wants to invade the surface world and wipe out the human race. The Kong of the MonsterVerse has always been known as the Titanus Kong, just as the MonsterVerse Godzilla is the Titanus Gojira, but it was unclear whether Kong's Titan name applied only to him or if all members of his species were Kongs. Now, Godzilla x Kong, the new empire, has come along to clear that up. As it turns out, Kong and the other members of his species are great apes. The name Kong applies only to Kong himself, not to his entire species. Every other great ape has their own name that's specific to them, just like Kong is specific to the beloved Titan. The smaller juvenile ape referred to as a mini-Kong in the trailers is actually called Suko. The villainous great ape that Kong teams up with Godzilla to vanquish is called the Scar King, or just Scar. The great apes lost the ancient Titan War with Godzilla. Losing the ancient Titan War forced the great apes to relocate. Shimo roars before spitting out ice in Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire has revealed that Godzilla and the great apes have a long history together. A long time ago, the great apes fought members of Godzilla's species in a war known as the Ancient Titan War, also referred to as the Great Titan War. This conflict primarily involved members of the Titanus Gojira fighting against members of the Titanus Kong, but a few other Muto species were involved. The Ancient Titan War took place at the center of the Kingdom of Agartha, the oldest known human civilization established by humans and the Anunnaki, an advanced alien species that came to Earth in ancient times, in the Hollow Earth. Since the war took place before the beginning of recorded human history, very little is known about the specifics of the conflict or how it initially broke out. The leading theory is that the war was started by the Hollow Earth Alpha, better known as the Scar King. The war left the Kingdom of Agartha in ruins, and the great apes who lived there were forced to relocate to a different part of the Hollow Earth, where they established the new Agarthan Empire. In the ruins of Agartha, archaeologists have discovered all kinds of fossils that indicate which Mutos took part in the war. Of course, there are plenty of Titanus Gojira and Titanus Kong fossils, but they also found genitors, skullcrawlers, the Titanus Mosura, and other parasitic Mutos. Why some great apes were on Skull Island? Not all great apes retreated to the Hollow Earth. Kong looking to the side in Kong Skull Island. While most of the great apes followed the Scar King to establish the new Agarthan Empire after the fall of the Kingdom of Agartha, they didn't all go with him. Some of the great apes left the Hollow Earth for good and headed for the surface world. They ended up settling on Skull Island, which is where the humans of the MonsterVerse first encountered Kong in 2017's Kong, Skull Island. It's unclear why some of the great apes went to Skull Island instead of following the Scar King. Perhaps they didn't trust the Scar King or they feared another defeat. This backstory was filled in by writer Greg Keyes in Godzilla vs. Kong, the official movie novelization. In the book, Jia recalls the ancient war between Godzilla's species and Kong's species, with the Iwi fighting on the Kong's side. After losing the war, the Iwi and some of the remaining great apes headed to Skull Island. Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire adapted this story and added a couple of details, like the Scar King's involvement and the revelation that Godzilla sealed the other great apes within the Hollow Earth.